On today's episode of Watch Chair Go, we are here in the warehouse with my 2004 GMC Envoy XUV, the failed GM crossover truck thing. What is going on, guys? I am Watch Chair Go, and like I said, I'm here with my Envoy XUV, and in yesterday's video, we talked about the XUV and fixed the midgate, replaced that regulator, and on today's video, we're gonna try to fix the much more complicated tailgate. The tailgate has 3 different electric latches and its own computer, and they like to break. They do like to break. And one of the unfortunate things about how cool this is, it was only made for such a short period, and it has very, very specific parts, and they don't need to keep a lot of them around because there's not a lot of these things to supply parts for. There are only 27,200 Envoy XUVs ever made, so I found one of those regulators in my entire city and one of these latches, and I don't even know which one it is. It doesn't tell you which one they are, and they are different, which is funny. But I didn't buy that because the latches are 200 and change each. Every part of this is very expensive because they didn't need to make many, they don't need to be on hand, it just costs them money to store these parts that for a normal car would be really cheap, like that BMW X5. Our regulators, a handful of dollars. But on this, that's not the case. So let's tear this tailgate apart. We're gonna take the latches out of it and start trying to go through each one. I wanna spray them with electrical cleaner, see if we can get the dirt, water possibly out of them, whatever it is, and make this tailgate work properly again. I bought it so cheap because the roof won't retract and the back window won't go up. So something in here is very broken, like a limit switch on the roof operation or in the window or something like that, and now the latches won't work. So it just keeps getting a little bit worse, but we'll get all this straightened out and make this thing work right. Ah, look at this. Okay, in-gate window motor, so it should be this one. It is not commanding it. Lower left ajar switch, ajar. Let's go push the tailgate shut, see what happens. Closed. Interesting. Well, obviously the tailgate computer is working correctly. The statuses out of everything were perfect. Honestly, my plan for the latch repair starts with this CRC's wire dryer. This should displace any water that's in here and make the switches that it uses to sense the door position inside those latches work. So I'm just gonna blast it with this stuff and we'll see if it gets it to come back. I doubt it. We're probably gonna have to take them out, but we're gonna try this first. So the switches are inside the latch itself here. And this is also a lubricant, so don't feel bad about spraying it in there. It has like probably silicone in it. Well, it has fatty acids in it. Test number 1. Oop. All right, here comes the quick test. Oop. Push this thing on. This should be actuating all the switches. Oh, listen to that. I can hear both of these running, so they're trying. I just think they're like seized up. I just can't get it to click in. I know it knows the tailgate's closed. Okay, let's rip the tailgate apart. I know everyone says this is a T27, but it is very clearly a T30. A T27 probably works because it's very close, but T30 for sure. Come on. There we go. We need to leave one fastener in here so I can get this out by myself. All right, here's that last fastener that's holding this thing in. Try to get a hand under it. Boom. Here's the tailgate computer that we were talking to earlier. Obviously it's got power and it's working perfectly, I would say. Quick check for wire issues, but I don't see really any problems that jump out at me. No chafed insulation, missing wires or anything like that back in the hinge. So What we need to do now is get these latches out of here. So I think these are T30s as well. Should be 3 on each latch. That's all you gotta do to get the latches out. Still GM part. So this is what I'm doing with the screwdriver here, just actuating this over and over, trying to make it click in. And there's like a spring that's supposed to lock that in, and it's not doing its job. I think what happened is earlier when I washed this, all the mud kind of turned into lubricant. And it lets this just kind of flip back open now. And you can see if I trip it with the release, it kind of works as expected, but there's just so much dirt and junk built up in this thing that it can't properly catch all of them. I did literally blast all the latches with high pressure water, and I just didn't get all the dirt out of them. It really needs torn apart, cleaned, and lubricated. So the issue here is these were designed to never, ever, ever come apart. And I managed to do it. I broke that snap. I got that one out and that one out. But it's incredibly hard to actually do this. And if you take a look at the worm drive that runs this thing in and out, full of dirt. Bunch of grease in there, very old. The limit switch is kind of covered in dirt. She's just dirty. So if we run the latch now, okay, it clicks just like it should. Worm gear is supposed to operate. There it goes. Oh, mud all over me. All right, I'm just gonna go clean this thing like there's no tomorrow, and maybe I can save it. I did a ton of cleaning, but it's clearly not enough. There's a lot of dirt left inside that latch. It could all come out. I think I need to get it over to my parts cleaner to really go through that thing. And then let's take a look at this. I hooked it back up and tested the latches. The lights obviously turn on inside just like they should if I trigger both of the limits. And hitting the button runs the motor. The motor sounds mediocre. But I think we can clean the worm gear a ton. Maybe use a little solvent in there or brake clean, just not inside the motor itself. I think we can get that clean, and obviously the switch will probably never fail there. And then we'll re-lubricate that with like silicone grease, and I think this will go right back to work. If it's $250 for this plastic, you know I'm actually fixing it. So I've got the secret here, a little bit of Motul Nismo Comp 5W40, one of the greatest oils in the entire world, super high end, and an excellent motor oil, like electric motor oil as well. So what I'm doing is using a screwdriver to drip oil onto the top of the motor, and then we'll run it, and we'll get this thing to take that oil in, and that should displace water, dirt, all that fun stuff, and make this thing work like a champ. So one drip at a time here. You can put it right where you need it on the motor shaft, and then just turn the motor by hand, and then we'll plug it in and run it. So if this thing will actuate itself like one time, we'll probably be good. Let's just slide it back together. Everything's set up. Get this last piece of paper towel right there or something. And I'm back at the shop after completely rebuilding all of the latches. We've disassembled these, put them in the parts cleaner. My smart washer went through all of the mechanical side. As you can see, they are crazy clean inside. And then re-greased them with dielectric grease. And this is the last one. So this one has 4 pins and 1 position switch. This one has 5 pins and dual position switches, and this one has 5 pins and 1 position switch. So they're all different, and they're all about $250. And now I really, really, really hope they're fixed, because I don't want to spend $750 trying to fix this tailgate. This one has Torx bolts that go right there, those 3. And then those other 3, where it bolts into the tailgate, are 13s. And it pivots on this and this. So let's get this back together. Now I know for a fact on the first outing, every single latch will work perfectly. Everything locked just the way it should. Now let's hook the battery back up and hope the computer gets all the positions right and this thing starts to work right. Okay, I don't have a lot of faith here, but it's worth a shot. Here's the center one. Of course that worked. Closing is where we have the issue here. It worked! So that one is out for some reason, so let's try it. Okay. Please close. Ah! I wonder if this one's the actual issue here. These two pins inside this thing are the motor, and I found that to be true on the other one, so it's probably true on all of these. And what I'm doing now is I'll latch this thing with a screwdriver here. It locked, finally. It is mechanical failure in these things. They're just worn out. And then I've got 12 volts on here from the Milwaukee battery. Just pull one out of your coat, and there you go, it unlocked. And then just sit here and actuate it over and over until it works in all that grease. So these little motors, they don't have a lot of power, but okay, seems like it's actually running correctly. Lock it, hit it again, unlocks, lock it, hit it again. Yeah, we're doing pretty good now. I'm gonna run this like 10 more times, do the same thing to the other one, and I think the tailgate's fixed. If you're using a grease, it needs to be a very, very light grease, and then they must like bench test these and then run them a whole bunch when they build these motors. It's the only explanation for how they don't get all that lithium grease they put in them to not bind. This one I had to actuate about 5 times. There's the latch locked, and you'll start hearing the grease actually moving around in there. Now it's working perfectly. At first you'll hear the motor just go, and then it goes a little farther, and a little farther, a little farther, and then all of a sudden you get a nice oh, there, it froze up. See what I'm saying? So that one's kind of back to working. Latch it again. Here we go. Nice, all the way through. I'm gonna wipe out a little of that grease just because it's probably excessive, but I wanted it to run forever. On the mechanical side, it's great, but on that little motor drive, less great. And now everything works. Check it out. Yep, it holds it. I need to lube up all these. It's all full of dirt. It looks like it's just rubbing right there pretty hard. Two-way tailgate. 2 ways again. Finally. Oh, what a mess that was. I'm so happy it works. Once this thing gets cleaned up, it'll look really good too. There's a lot to do here and a lot of dirt still coming out of this. I'm telling you guys, life on a dirt road is the hardest thing you can ever do to a car. It just destroys them. Doesn't matter what it is. So I got back into the auto, which by the way, if you don't have an Epic scanner, good luck working on newer cars like this. Get one. And I was like, tell me the secrets of this tailgate. And then I went to Hot Functions, and I just figured I'd look around. There's one called window up down in the in-gate module. I can just force all of it. Even if it's not working right, you can just force it. So, you know, if you have a Tech 2, the actual GM scanner, or whatever the new thing is, or a good scanner like the Autel, you can just push commands to it and troubleshoot everything. This is amazing. This is how you do it. Everyone else on the internet's just like poking around and trying to get everything fixed. Nah, data. It's too bad this doesn't just manually slide. Okay, I'm not doing it that hard. This is gonna be a fun thing to troubleshoot. So that is it for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to head on over to shop.watchjayrgo.com where you can get cool shirts not like this. And please like, share, subscribe, do whatever you want to do, and I will talk to you next time. Hey, Nissan transmission's here. Okay, that didn't work very well. There's no lights on. There was just a giant pop out of the hoverboard. I think the lithium cells just popped. Oh! I think the lithiums just gave up on life. I think that's the magical fire. Look! It's the fire! My hoverboard just burnt down! This is so sad, but it's still popping. I think this is a full-on lithium battery fire here. Not good. About to throw it in my dumpster because it's empty. Let me see if I can kick this away from all the fuel. Ugh. I don't have a place to let it burn down very safely here. But look, it's still on. And the cells are just pop, 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 pop. This thing's been with me for many miles. Very sad to see it die. It's smoking more and more and more. I think I'm just gonna like go set it out in the concrete burnout pit. It just shut down on me while I was riding it a second ago. What if we just hit it with a hammer until it opens up? Because this one, I mean, it's obviously, it's just stupid amount of miles on the thing. Let's cut it open. I know the words I said were cut it open, but my plan was to do that, but now it kind of stopped smoking. So if we can get a deep enough Phillips, we can pull this thing apart pretty quick. See? All right, can't record at the same time. This thing is hot too. You can feel the heat coming out of it. Well, the batteries must be on the other side of the board here. You can see a little bit of blue light coming out of those things still. Yeah, I thought this was a pack failure, but the pack is in great shape. Look at that. Other than the fact that it's like not attached, which is kind of funny, but it's cap failure. There's one. I've heard 3 or 4 pops so far. I wonder if it was a dead short. Look at that. There's a chance there could have been an actual short there. And then right down in there, middle cap, popped. And there's one more like big cap failure somewhere. Oh, that one. It's the motor controllers or something. They exploded. Blew the guts out of them. Pressure switches. It's opto. It doesn't actually look for pressure at all. It's just breaking a gate. Interesting. Well, I guess it can sit inside because it's not actually a problem. I'll just unplug the lithium. 36 volt, 2015. It already had 1 billion miles on it when I got it.